Are there girls in engineering? It's something that a lot of you want to know, so I asked my engineering female friends for their answer. But if you look at the past, you'll see that girls and engineering don't really go together. But have things changed? Let's get to know these engineering girls and ask them some questions.
My name is Hasna. I'm an engineering student. I was in school for about a year and a half. I decided to take a year gap just to work. I was studying civil engineering at Ohlone College in Fremont. I'm currently just working at a car dealership.
My name is Jessica Gajan. I'm 27 years old. My background is in fashion modelling, but I actually studied aerospace engineering at the University of Liverpool, and currently I'm actually working as Miss England, and I use my title to go into schools up and down the country and showcase engineering to young girls and young boys and show them exactly where they can go with a STEM degree.
Hey everyone, my name is Lydia. I'm 20 years old and I go to McMaster University in Hamilton, Ontario. I'm studying software engineering.
My name is Pooja Dutt and I'm a software engineer. I've been in the industry for about 5 years. I currently work at Microsoft and I went to school at UW-Madison in Wisconsin, and I majored in computer science.
My name's Janine. I'm 21 years old, from Palestine, and I'm currently an architectural engineering student at the University of Waterloo. I'm currently in my 3rd year and jobless.
My name is Segal Sayed. I study mechanical engineering at Dalhousie University. I'm Egyptian. I'm about to be 20 years old in like a couple days, and I'm currently doing an internship as a facilities engineer in the energy sector.
How many girls were there in your classes?
Including me, it was 2 in total, and then the professor was also a female.
In my year for aerospace engineering, there was about 100 people and there was only 9 or 10 girls.
In first year, because at McMaster it's a general engineering program, we actually had like a decent number of women. I think it was around 30% in my year, and the most recent incoming class had actually 40%. Now that I'm in software eng, however, it's like substantially less. It's like something like 15 to 20% in my classes.
So going to school at UW-Madison, there weren't a ton of girls in my classes, especially the more math heavy and computer science heavy classes. I would say there were probably about 2 to maybe 10 at a time out of 100 of us.
The majority of my program is all girls, which I really love. I'd say like 80% of my program is all girls, and there's 90 people in the program. So
the way it works at my school is for the first 2 years, all of us kind of do like the same classes, like all the disciplines. Maybe there's like 300 of us, and maybe like 100 were girls. And then right now in mechanical engineering, I'd say there's 5 girls and there's about 75 of us. So we're definitely the minority.
What made you choose engineering?
I love engineering. Ever since I was a little girl, like, I knew that at some point in my life, like, I wanted to be an engineer. Or like when I was like, I think I want to say 14. You know how like you buy stuff from IKEA and then like you assemble it on your own? I would always do that, like always, without any help or whatsoever. So I just knew like engineering was my thing, and like I really liked math too. So I just wanted to pursue my career in engineering.
So I went to university late. I only started my university journey at the age of 23, and I picked engineering purely because it would make me employable.
It's just that I am really like impact driven, and I want to be able to see the things that I build. That's something that brings me a lot of fulfillment in life, like knowing that I created something, I developed something that is having a direct impact on other people.
I feel like I didn't really know that I wanted to become an engineer until like 12th grade. Growing up, I really liked math, and when we started taking science, you know, biology, chemistry, physics, I really liked physics, and engineering has a lot of physics.
So I actually come from a family of 4 engineers. Everyone in my family is an engineer. So I've kind of always geared towards that path. I wasn't forced into it, but when it's the only thing that you know, it becomes the thing that you're best at.
So do you feel like you get treated differently by your professors because, you know, you're a girl in engineering?
Yes, me personally, I feel like for girls in engineering field, I feel like the professors really push you.
Nope. Not at all. Didn't feel like that whatsoever.
I think that McMaster does a really good job of making sure women in engineering feel represented and feel heard. Like, for example, in our first year design course, it's like a course where you're learning engineering design principles. It's taking you through like the full engineering life cycle. They actually made it so that the groups of 4 that you're in are either 4 guys or it's 2 girls and 2 guys, so that there's no situation where, because again, it's a predominantly male, you know, class body, there's no situation where it's 3 guys and 1 girl and the girl feels intimidated. And
I didn't feel that I got treated differently by professors, mostly because I didn't really interact with professors.
I don't think so, because our professors are extremely rude to guys and girls, alhamdulillah. very even playing field?
Honestly, no. No and yes. I don't feel like I'm treated differently in any bad way, but I do feel like sometimes I'm taken a bit more serious and they think I'm more academic than the guys, because I do feel like because there's so many guys, they kind of have a perspective that guys just like slack off. I don't know though.
Which engineering major do you think had the most girls?
I feel like civil engineering has the most girls in my opinion.
I'm gonna say biomedical or chemical engineering.
I think in McMaster specifically, the ones with the most women in engineering are chemical engineering and biomedical engineering. And we actually call chem-eng, fem-eng, like that's like a running joke, because they're almost 50% female, if not a little bit over actually.
I think industrial engineering had the most women.
I definitely think architectural engineering, at least from what I saw, has the most. I think it definitely has to do with the fact that at least I feel like girls are way more creative when it comes to like design.
So I'm actually like the rep, so I kind of know like all of the stats in my school at least, and I know that chemical has the most girls and mechanical has the least girls. I know for a fact that chemical has the most because I feel like people think chemistry and science is very girly, but like math and physics is very manly. Like I think that's kind of like the split. Almost every single girl chose either civil or chemical.
And then which engineering major do you think has the least girls?
I want to say mechanical.
Okay, yeah, my major. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take offense.
No,
Okay.
no offense.
I'm gonna guess that this is aerospace engineering. And I'm guessing because, as I say, there was only 9 or 10% girls in my class, which isn't a lot at all, so I'm gonna guess aerospace engineering for that one.
At McMaster, it's actually the Department of Computing and Software, so specifically software engineering and mechatronics engineering. Both of those streams of engineering have like sub 20% women.
I would say mechanical engineering probably has the least amount of girls.
Probably mechanical engineering. I actually really don't know why. I think it has to do with the guys being crusty and like not showering, and it's just like so offsetting.
Like I said, the major that has the least girls at my school is mechanical. I think in general mechanical has the least girls. It's geared, that was not a pun, but it's definitely geared towards men. I actually don't know why. Like I can't see why, but it definitely is geared towards men.
Do you think guys in your class have had a crush on you in the past?
Well, yes.
So I know this to be true because there were a few guys actually who asked me out on dates, but I never actually went out with anybody in my class. I was solely focused on being in university to get my degree.
I'm gonna say no. I mean, it has happened before. There is historical precedent, but I'm gonna say no. The reason I'm saying no is because I don't think I go to class often enough for anyone to be developing a crush on me.
I have no idea. Again, I was in college a while ago, so who knows?
I think that everyone has a crush on me, not just the guys in my class. I'm just kidding. I wake up like 10 minutes before class, walk my ass to class, and then look crusty the whole day. I'm literally falling asleep in all of my classes. I definitely don't think any guy in my freaking class looks in my direction.
Well, I guess the next question is, do you think guys in engineering are awkward?
Yes. Yes, they are. No offense, but some of them are, you know. For the most part, they're cool. Like I mean, at least from my experience, if I would like, I'm really social, you know what I mean? Like for me, nothing is awkward. Like if I talk to someone and they don't say something back, like I don't take any offense to it. It's like, oh, whatever, like he didn't want to talk.
Not generally, no. I know loads of guys in my class who are like the life and soul of the party.
Understandably, because they're so overwhelmed with eng, they only surround themselves with other engineering guys.
Yes. Yes. I think there's a very distinct difference, not in a bad way. I'm not saying this in a negative way at all. I think, you know, quirky people are interesting people, to be honest.
I think that whole like people in engineering are awkward is like a stereotype, half-half. I think that there are a lot of people in any major that are awkward. I think engineering, there is like a few nerdy, kept to themselves.
How do people normally react when you tell them you're an engineer?
They would be like, oh wow, like you're in the engineering field? And I'm like, yeah, like it's like, it seems super shocking to them, you know, like a girl as an engineer. Like literally the other day, I was at the gym working out and I was talking to someone and the conversation come up like about schools and everything, and he had asked me like, oh, what do you do in school? And I was like, oh, I'm an engineering major. And then he was like, oh, what? Like you as an engineer? I was like, I took a little offense to it a little. I was like,
Typically, people used to be shocked when they found out I had a degree in aerospace engineering, but because I'm Miss England, a lot more people now know because it's been in the media, it's been in the press, and also I utilised my degree by going into different schools up and down the country and talking about it, so it's not as much of a shock anymore. But I think at the time it was a bit of a shock, and I genuinely think this is because these are two completely separate industries, so a lot of people don't really think that you could potentially be two things.
Honestly, I think I get a range of reactions depending on who I'm talking to. The nicest ones are people who say I don't look like an engineer. I'm like, oh, thank you, which is obviously like a bad stereotype about what engineers look like, but it's still a compliment. So I'm gonna take the backhand compliment. That's okay. That's okay with me. I think that most people are like, oh wow, you're smart. That's kind of like the main thing. And it's like, man, like I used to be smart maybe, but engineering humbled me. So
I don't know. I think I grew up around people that thought it was normal for women to be engineers. So I think it's sometimes almost an expectation, especially coming from like an Indian background. I think that's just the norm.
I'm not an engineer yet, but when I tell people I'm studying architectural engineering, if I'm telling like an auntie, she'll like try to set me up with her son. But if I tell like the normal person, their response is like, oh, okay, cool.
People are literally always shocked. They're like, oh my god, you study engineering? Especially when I tell them mechanical. I have gotten the comment, mechanical engineering is for men, so many times, and I just like, no, not really. Like, my sister is a mechanical engineer, and I'm just like, I've never seen that it is manly.
And when did you first learn about what engineering was?
like one day I was just playing with stuff, and then my mom was like, you should just become an engineer just like your aunt.
Nice. And how old were you?
I think it was like 9, 8.
I only actually first learned what it was when I was in my 20s, and this is because I went off and I did my own research. So I knew different elements of engineering, what it would involve. So for instance, I'd done little bits of CAD when I was at school and little bits of workshop practice, but outside of that bubble I didn't actually realise what engineers did. So I took it upon myself to do the research, and I did, and I thought, wow, this is fantastic.
both my parents are engineers. My mom is a electrical engineer by education, but she works in software, and my dad is a mechanical engineer. So I knew from a very young age that engineers were basically just people who build things.
Honestly, till this day, don't know what being an engineer means or what an engineer does. All I know is you make shit.
Like I said, everyone in my family is an engineer, so I've literally known my whole life, and I remember being like 4 or 5, somebody asking me what I want to be when I grow up, and I was like, I want to be an engineer, and they literally were like, what? Like,
And so I guess, do you regret choosing engineering?
No, I don't regret it. It's something that I want to continue, but I just have to like, you know, think about it more.
Okay, cool.
No, not at all. Engineering has equipped me with so many skills, and just having it on my CV gets me headhunted for so many different industries. So for instance, I've mentioned I did aerospace engineering, but I am getting headhunted by people that work in actuarial science, by people working in different roles in finance, by different types of engineering. So software engineering, and I actually interned in software engineering as well. So no, I don't regret choosing it at all, because it's given me a spectrum of different options to go forward in.
I really don't regret choosing engineering. I think that, I mentioned this a bit earlier, but I always want to do the thing that is like the most challenging and the most exciting to me, and that's what engineering is. And I can't be mad or regretful just because it is hard and challenging, right? Like, so I never could have imagined in a million years that I would be doing co-ops and internships across the world.
No, because engineering helped me get way out of my comfort zone. I don't think software engineering necessarily, at least used to come to me very naturally. I think now it does more so because it's a muscle that I've built, and I've practiced problem solving a lot.
not at all. I've never regretted choosing engineering. I literally love it so much, and I'm so interested in it. If I could go back in time, I'd probably still choose engineering.
So it's a bit of a controversial, maybe an interesting question, but they say there are 2 types of girls in engineering. One that's there to find a career, and one that's there to find your husband. How do you feel about that?
Well, from my experience, I'm there to like pursue my career, obviously. Like, I'm not looking for anything or whatsoever. Like, I'm just there for myself, you know?
I actually disagree with this statement, because I think if you were in engineering just to find your husband, that you potentially wouldn't last, because it takes a lot of dedication.
Of all the girls I know in engineering, none of them are like, I want to date an engineer. That's not to say that we don't like respect engineers. Like obviously we think it's a good career path. We're on that career path, right? To be fair though, it would be cute because in Canada, like we get the engineering ring. So you could be at like 2 rings in 1 year. That would be kind of cute. So I support any girls who want to get their engineering husbands, but I think that most women do not subject themselves to engineering in pursuit of a man. Because let me tell you something, lots of eng guys don't really necessarily go for eng girls, right? There's this whole joke that engineers love nurses, and you know, it's actually kind of true. Like there's a lot of eng nurse couples, so.
I think that's bullshit, honestly. I don't think, sorry, that like triggered me.
I don't think that's true at all. If you're in engineering to find a husband, just choose an easier degree and then go to the engineering campus and study. Don't put yourself through 4 or 5 years of engineering just to find a husband.
Any last words of advice or maybe interesting stories that you want to share?
If you really want it, go for it. Don't let anything stop you. And if you need to take some time off from school, do that. Like if you need to focus on your mental health, do that. Don't just do school and work. Finding a balance is very important. And ask for help when you need to. Like go to tutoring if you have to.
I'm going to share some words of advice, and I am going to say that persistence is the most valuable thing in an engineering degree. There are going to be times when you don't understand what's going on and you're going to feel like you are a drop in the ocean and you're going to question why you're there. Believe me, a lot of other people feel similar. They're just not communicating that. I have been in classes where the whole class is done terribly and they've had to scale the marks up because they make the exams so hard. So you're not alone. Persistence is so valuable, and please don't panic if it takes you 10 hours to learn a concept which takes somebody else 10 minutes to learn. We are all good at different things.
I honestly think that the best thing to do is just be yourself and work hard so that you don't lose yourself in your studies in engineering if it's something you truly want to do, and so that we can all collectively redefine what it means to be an engineer and a girl. We're all just people at the end of the day who are kind of nerdy and like to build things. That's all it is.
I think if you're a woman in engineering and you're scared to take the leap, I think you should push yourself to do it because you never know what's going to happen.
Definitely if you're a girl and if you're thinking of doing a Bachelor of Science, just look into engineering. Look at the courses, look at the job, and just realize that engineering is an amazing degree. It's so much fun, and I don't think you will regret it.
Next thing I want to talk about is I want to show you a few popular engineering memes, and just want you to tell me what you think about it and how you feel about it. The first one is this meme comparing girls in business versus engineering.
Okay. I think that wouldn't be me.
Okay.
That wouldn't be me because I feel like I like to take care of myself. I feel like when you're dressed good, you feel good and you do good naturally. It's very important to take care of yourself.
So I don't think the first one is correct. Yeah, I think it's funny, but I don't think the first one's correct. I know quite a few quite glamorous girls who've studied engineering.
Girls enrolled in business school versus girls enrolled in engineering school. Yeah, that's not a girl. Yeah, okay. Here's the thing. One of my favorite powerlifters, his name is Omar Isuf. I think I'm saying that correctly. He makes funny videos, and there's a post of his that went viral, and it's a picture of him, this burly guy with like facial hair, and someone commented, "You look like the average female engineering student." It's really funny. I always show it to my friends. I showed it to my mom, and she died, and she told me that back in Egypt, they used to say that women in engineering were just men without the facial hair. I live for the glow up.
I don't know what I think about that. You know, here's the problem, right? So in engineering, I don't think there were a lot of women in general. So I think if you're just talking about ratios, right? If you have like 100 women in one profession and like 4 women in another profession, statistically speaking, it's more likely you're gonna hit maybe more attractive people in the larger group, right? Does that make sense?
And honestly, like, I agree with this, but not because like engineering girls are crusty, not at all. I just think that business majors literally do jack the entire day, so you have like more time to put into yourself.
That's definitely the stereotype. I'm very into like fashion and makeup and skincare and I don't know, all those girly things. I don't think it has to be like that. Like there are girls in engineering that have other hobbies. Like some girls are just not that into the girly stuff but still choose engineering, and some are and choose engineering. Like it's a kind of true stereotype, but I don't know.
This is the dating scene for female engineers. The odds are good, but the goods are odd. How do you feel about that? Well, who do you think you see more of?
Nerds, for sure.
Okay.
Guys are that not into like life. They're just like into like books and like, you know, getting their shit done. I definitely have not seen a guy in engineering where he's like, you know, into like partying at the same time, school, like dressing up.
I disagree with all of these. I know that a lot of girls are still glamorous and enjoy being feminine and enjoying makeup and stuff like that in engineering. And I know a lot of guys who are typically very sporty and into lots of different things, and you know, they might be flying outside of their degree, they might be doing something completely different, they might be doing their own business stuff, so I can see why people would find them funny.
The dating scene for female engineers. The odds are good, but the goods are quite odd. Yes. The amount of weird interactions I've had with men in engineering, asking me out, hitting on me, being inappropriate at work. You know, my roommates who are not in engineering, like they would always be like, Lydia, you surround yourself with a particular breed of men because they are beautiful women, but they've never been hit on in these particular ways. And it's been different. Like, it's actually a different breed.
Again, I think like maybe there was some truth in this a while ago. I did agree that like engineers in general, I'm generalizing, are a little bit more awkward, but these people just look creepy. I don't think engineers are creepy.
Honestly, like engineering guys aren't like that bad, at least from my experiences. Like I think maybe one is like really good looking, but you know what, the rest are like they're okay, they're not the worst.
Wait, I'm sorry, this one's actually a little bit funny. I think there's a lot of nerdy guys, but I don't think it's like the majority anymore. Like there's guys that are outgoing, there's girls that are outgoing. Engineering is not so much for like the nerdy, shy people as much as I think it was, kind of. Like, I don't know, I see both sides.
I hope hearing from girls about their experience was educational, entertaining, and hopefully gave you a new perspective. A lot of them talked about their desire to learn, and if you're in a similar boat and want to continue learning more about STEM topics, then you should check out Brilliant.org, who are sponsoring this part of the video. They have thousands of interactive lessons on topics like advanced math, AI, neural networks, and data science. They're really any STEM student's best friend. I've mentioned this before. As a mechanical engineer, my software skills are pretty weak. We don't learn a lot about computer science fundamentals in my undergrad. So if I want to learn anywhere from the basics to advanced computer science concepts, Brilliant.org has been super clutch. It really just helps me be more well-rounded as an engineer. To try everything Brilliant has to offer for free for 30 days, check out this link, or I'll also put it in the video description. The first 200 of you to use this link will get 20% off Brilliant's premium annual subscription. Anyways, I hope this video brought you value. I'll see you in the next one. Peace!